So staff is ready. We're trying to track down what happened with Ms. Burton. But if you want to ask Dr. Felsenfeld to call the roll, we'll see if we can get her.
Thank you. Board Secretary?
I can do that.
All right.
Board Secretary Felsenfeld. Burton, not here at this point. Chan.
Chan here.
Felsenfeld is here. Loreen. I'm
Loreen
sorry, I've got
here.
something going in the background. That'll stop in just a moment. Loreen?
Yes, Loreen here, thank
Just
you.
here. Mackenzie.
Kenzie here.
Mackenzie, thank you. Medina.
Medina here.
Medina's here. Mendoza. Mr. Mendoza, are you here? I will circle back to him in a moment.
Oh, Mendoza here.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Molina. Dr. Molina.
Molina here.
Thank you. Dr. Montel.
Montel here.
Dr. Morrow.
Morrow is here.
Mr. Olagi.
Present.
Present. Thank you, Ms. Olagi. Pacheco. Dr. Pacheco. Ms. Pacheco.
Pacheco here.
And Pacheco's here. Stewart.
Stewart here.
And Stewart's here. You?
You present.
Okay. Ms. Burton, are you back with us yet? All right. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item 25A, Diversion Program Report and Statistics. I will ask Bernal Vaba, Chief of Regulatory Compliance and Discipline, to present this agenda item.
Good afternoon. Bernie Vaba, Chief of Regulatory Compliance and Discipline. I will be presenting agenda item 25A, Diversion Program Report and Statistics. This memo provides the statistics through September 30th, 2021. The statistics reflect the participant activity within the diversion program. At the end of September, 9 participants remained in the program. Of the 9 participants, 5 were self-referred, 1 enforcement referral, and 3 probation referrals. The next diversion meeting is scheduled on January 5th, 2022. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any board member comments? Seeing none, are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. I've opened the Q&A panel. If anyone would like to comment on this item, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. And seeing no requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vava. We will now move on to agenda item 25B, Controlled Substance Utilization Review and Evaluation Systems, Cures Report. I will ask Mr. Alvarez to present this agenda item.
Good afternoon, Board President Pacheco, board members. This is Carlos Alvarez, Chief of Enforcement. I'll be presenting agenda item number 25B, Cures. As of October 8th of 2021, we had 35,099 active licensed dentists in California. As of September of 2021, we have 16,552 licensees that have been registered with Cures. And this is 130 new licensees from my last report. So the Cures usage as of September of 2021, and this is searches where the licensees have gone into Cures, did their searches prior to writing a prescription for controlled substance. And this is a web application and information exchange web services, meaning where a licensee can have more than one office and they're all using the same logon credentials, and it captures that. So as of September of 2021, there was 16,735 searches that were done within Cures prior to writing a prescription for controlled substances. So the total times that the system was accessed in July of 2021, it was 3,700 times. August of 2021, 3,862. September of 2021, 3,634. Help desk statistics, and this is when a licensee calls cures for the help desk. This is through phone and through email inquiries. In July, there was 175 inquiries. August, there was 191, and September, there was 163. So then below, we have total number of prescriptions filled by schedule for the months of July, August, and September. And this is the total amount of prescriptions that were written for schedules 2 through 5. And again, all of these are total numbers from all licensees or licensed prescribers to issue a controlled substance. So this is all the licensees, everything's combined. And these are the figures that we have for schedules 2 through 5. If anybody has any questions?
Dr. Morrow, I saw your hand go up and then go down. Did you have a comment? Dr. Morrow?
Yes, I'm here. Carlos, of the 35,099 currently active licensed dentists,
Dr. Morrow, we can no longer hear you.
now, can you now?
We can hear you now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm coming in and out here. Carlos, of the 35,099 currently active licensed dentists, are those all physically located and practicing in California? If not, how many of them have a license in California, but their primary practice is in another state?
Yeah, so those, and I'm sorry, and I apologize. When I gathered the statistics of how many total active dentists we have in California, and I apologize, I didn't really look into like how many had a license here, how many were out of state. The numbers I provided was just a total number of licensees in California. I apologize.
That's okay, thank you. Maybe in the future, it might be beneficial if we were able to identify the difference in those numbers.
Yes, of course. I will do that.
Thank you, Dr. Morrow. Any other board member comments? Seeing and hearing none. Are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. I've again opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to comment on this item, please click on that Q&A icon on your screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. And seeing no requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
We will now move on to agenda item 25C, new prescribing laws taking effect January 1st, 2022. And again, I will ask Mr. Alvarez to present the report on this agenda item.
Thank you. So agenda item number 25, new prescribing laws that taken effect January 1st of 2022. This bill on or after January 1st of 2022 will require all prescriptions issued by a licensed healthcare practitioner to a California pharmacy must be submitted electronically. Now, this counts for non-controlled substance and controlled substances. So both have to be written as an e-script, as electronic prescription. Now, there is some certain exceptions for the transmissions of the prescriptions. If the system is temporarily unavailable because of technological or electrical failures. If the prescription is located, the pharmacy is located outside of California, and also if the prescription is issued to a patient who has a terminal illness or they're in hospice, then there is exceptions where an e-script is not required. Although prescriptions will be issued electronically, it is still recommended that all licensees prescribe have paper prescription forms available that meet the requirements of AB 149 should a technological or electrical failure prevent a prescription from being issued electronically. A healthcare practitioner who fails to meet the requirements of AB 2789 may be subject to disciplinary action. And also, in order to ensure that dentists licensed by the Dental Board of California were apprised of the new requirements that would be taking effect on January 1st of 2022, the board posted the following alerts on this website. We posted AB 2789, new prescribing laws that take effect January 1st of 2022. And in addition, we sent out an e-blast to all dental board licensees. And we started sending these email blasts starting on September the 9th of 2021. Then thereafter, every 2 weeks, we're sending out email blasts regarding the new prescription laws that take effect. And again, this is for both non-controlled and controlled substance. And if a licensee is going to issue a controlled substance prescription, they still have to go through cures. They still have to research the patients, the history, before writing an e-script. And also whoever dispenses or releases the prescription to the patient or the patient's representative, they're the ones who have to report that to cures. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Are there any board member comments? Dr. Chan?
This is Steve Chan. Carlos, an interesting variation of this, and it's more technical. If you write a prescription, your patient comes from or is out of state, the first thing is, can the out-of-state pharmacy not recognize your license in California to dispense?
Well, if there's a licensee that's licensed in California, but they're out of state, they still have to follow all the requirements of cures, all the laws and regulations of California. So if a licensee is out of state and they fill a prescription in California via, let's just say, teledentistry, then they still have to do that electronically and they still have to report that to cures.
So the other way is, you're in California, your patient's out of state, the pharmacy is out of state. Can it not recognize our California license for them to dispense out of state?
If it's outside of California, then there's no need to report to cures if it's outside of California.
Okay, and then the other piece, it's kind of explains it, is that if the pharmacy out of state does not have the ability to receive electronic scripts, then we're not held to that. We can do just paper scripts.
If the outside state doesn't require e-scripts, then a paper script, telephone, or fax will be sufficient. But again, it depends on the laws and regulations of the other state.
Got it. Thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome.
Dr. Loren?
Hello, Carlos. I have two questions. Let's see. I think I asked you before, when somebody does an electronic e-script, the company that manages that, is there a possibility of reporting that directly to cures? Maybe not at this time, but so we don't have to do two jobs? And okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, the licensee has to, again, review cures before writing the prescription. And again, whoever releases the prescription, 9 times out of 10, I would say it's a pharmacy. that releases the prescription, they're the ones who have to report that to Cures.
Okay, and the second question is how's this gonna be enforced? Because is it gonna be like the pharmacist that's gonna report that a paper subscription was submitted, or how are we gonna take care of this to control this? It's happening. Who's gonna report
Yeah, so
that it's
with
not
that,
getting done?
If it's not getting done, and then the pharmacy or the pharmacist could report that to the board of pharmacy, that gets forwarded to the dental board, or the pharmacy or the pharmacist could contact us directly to file a complaint. But one of the things is with this new law, they may or may not report it to the board. So they could actually handle this by contacting the licensee, saying they're not going to dispense the prescription unless it's electronically. Or if there's other issues that they had, again, the other things like say if it's hospice or their system went down or something like that, some of those exceptions.
Yeah, thank you. I was concerned that, the pharmacy has the obligation to report it to the board, but you're saying no.
Yeah, they didn't make it as, the law didn't make it as an obligation. Like I said, they may for that and contact us, or like I said, they can handle that on their own by requesting electronically prescription.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Loren. Are there any other board member comments?
This is Steve again. I have one more question. Steve Chan.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of the vendors, when one can register their product in the software, uses the National Practitioner Data Bank number, not the license, the California license. That could be a problem in tracking. How do we handle that?
Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to those vendors and those applications, really we don't have any authority how their process is. And again, it's just going to have to take like the pharmacist to report this. But like I said, we have no control on the applications or the apps that dentists are using.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. Dr. Loren, your hand is still up. Did you have another comment? Dr. Loren?
I'm going to try to make it go down again. Let me see.
Okay.
No, I don't have another comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other board member comments? Seeing and hearing none, are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. I've opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to make a public comment, click on the Q&A icon, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. And seeing no requests, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. We will now move on to item 27A, review of dental licensure and permit statistics. I'm going to ask Kayla Surprenant, Licensing and Examination Unit Manager, and Tina Valerie, Chief of Licensing and Administration, to present this agenda item.
Thank you, President Pacheco, and good afternoon, board members. My name is Kayla Surprenant. I am the DDS Licensing Unit Manager. Agenda item 27A begins on page 336 and is a review of the dental licensure and permit statistics. On page 336, you'll see the monthly license application statistics by pathway for the previous 3 fiscal years, including the current fiscal year 2021-2022 as of September 30th. The statistics are broken down by each pathway, which includes REB, residency, credential, portfolio, and ADEX for each fiscal year. The first chart on page 336 shows the statistics for applications received by month. The charts on page 337 show the statistics for applications approved and dental licenses issued. Moving to page 338, the charts show the monthly statistics for canceled applications and withdrawn applications. On page 339, you will see the monthly statistics for denied applications. On pages 340 through 343, you will see graphs of the monthly statistics for current fiscal year as of September 30th for applications received, applications approved, licenses issued, canceled applications, withdrawn applications, and denied applications. On the bottom of page 343, there is a chart with the dental law and ethics written examination statistics, which are broken up by pathway for the previous 3 fiscal years, including the current fiscal year as of September 30th. Please note, the last occupational analysis was done in 2018, and there's a target date for another analysis in 2025. On page 344 and 345, you will find statistics on dental licenses and permits issued by Pathway for the previous 3 fiscal years, including the current fiscal year as of September 30th. The permit statistics are broken down by current status, active, inactive, retired reduced fee, disabled, delinquent, and canceled license for each year. The last section of this agenda item on pages 347 and 348 covers statistics on population for current and active licenses by county and the population per dental license per county for 2019, 2020, and 2021 as of September 30th. On page 349, you will see the counties with the highest population for dentists, with the highest county being Yuba County, and the counties with the lowest population per dentist, with the lowest being San Francisco County. And I would be happy to take any questions regarding this agenda item.
Are there any board member comments? Seeing and hearing none. Are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. We have again opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to make a comment on this item, please click on that Q&A icon, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. And not seeing any comments. Would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item 27B, general anesthesia and conscious sedation permit evaluation statistics. I'm going to ask Jessica Olney, anesthesia unit manager, to present this agenda item.
Good afternoon, President Pacheco and members of the board. Agenda item 27B are the general anesthesia conscious sedation permit evaluation statistics, which begin on page 351. You'll see statistics for the 21-22 fiscal year, and these numbers are as of September 30th of 2021. Just below that is a graph of prior fiscal years for fiscal year 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, and then the very last column will be the first quarter of 21-22. Just below that is a graph which continues on to the next page, which is 352 of 380 of the items. Continuing on page 353, we follow the same information for the conscious sedation evaluations, which includes the first quarter of 2021 through 2022. And then the second graph just below that is the fiscal years for 3 prior fiscal years, and again, including the first quarter of 21-22. We also have graphs of the evaluations, which continue on page 353 and as well as 354. Page 355 begins with the medical general anesthesia evaluations. again, for the first quarter of 21-22. And then the chart below, which is a breakdown of the previous 3 fiscal years, as well as, again, the first quarter of 21-22. And again, a graph at the bottom, and that same graph that continues on page 356, with the last page being 357, which includes a breakdown of the current evaluators per region, broken down by the 3 permit categories in Northern and Southern California. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you.
Are there any board member comments? I see Dr. Chan.
This is
Dr.
Steve.
Chan?
Just to calibrate us, when there's an evaluation of conscious sedation or general anesthesia, and the evaluation is failed, or the evaluation has failed, is the permit immediately suspended until it passes, until the practitioner passes?
No, and that is a good question, Dr. Chan. The permit for someone who fails an evaluation, the board notifies that permit holder, and they have 30 days from the date that they receive that notice to be reevaluated. If they are reevaluated and pass within 30 days, their permit continues with no disruption. For whatever reason, if they decide not to be reevaluated or they fail a second time, then their permit is suspended. And again, the permit is suspended if they do not pass another evaluation within 30 days of notice.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
This is Felsenfeld, if I may speak.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. All right, thank you. Ms. Olney, on page 355, just curiosity here. The medical general anesthesia evaluation data, and I'm just looking at a couple of years. It looks like the canceled permit by request has a number of these physicians, and the canceled permit for non-compliance has a larger number of these physicians. Is that about the same in that the individual who was a physician coming into dental offices and doing anesthesia just decided to give up and not do it anymore in either case? Or is there a difference between the two?
For the canceled permits for non-compliance, it could very well be that they're just no longer doing it and they ignore the notice. We do contact the permit holders and give them a time frame to complete the evaluation. If they do not complete it in that time frame, then the permit is automatically canceled. Some of the permit holders will respond to our letters and just let us know that they're no longer interested. And the reasons vary, but more likely it's because they don't utilize the permit as much as they intended to when they first applied for it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board member comments? Seeing and hearing none, are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. I've again opened the Q&A panel, and if anybody has a comment on this item, please click on that Q&A icon on your screen, type comment into the text box, and submit that to our panelists. And not seeing any comments, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item 28A, 2022 tentative legislative calendar. I will ask board member Fran Burton, chair of the Legislative and Regulatory Committee, to facilitate the agenda items regarding legislation.
Okay, and hopefully you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay. So 27A is the legislative, tentative legislative calendar for this second year in the 2-year session. And there are a couple of things. This is on page 359. there are a couple of things to be mindful of, and that is that January is a very busy month, particularly because the budget has to be submitted. But January 14th is the last day for policy committees to hear and report any fiscal bills that were introduced in the 21 session. And then the 21st is the last day for committees to hear and report those bills to the floor. And the 21st is also the last day to submit any bill request. And the end of the month, the 31st, is the last day for each house to pass bills that were introduced in the 2021 session. Our calendar, the dental board's calendar, has not meshed with the legislative calendar. And so with the first meeting in January, our first meeting being in February, we will miss all of this January action, but we'll have to monitor this. And I think the rest of that calendar is self-explanatory. And again, I want to mention that our calendar does not always mesh. And so it's been difficult over the years to take positions on bills, given that the legislative calendar is different. There's always the option for special meetings if necessary. So are there any questions on the calendar? Any questions on 28A? Any public comment?
This is the moderator. We've opened the Q&A panel. If you'd like to comment on this item, please click on the Q&A icon on your screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to the panelists. And seeing no comments, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Okay. The next item is agenda item 28B. And this is the end of the year legislative summary report. I'm going to ask Wilbert Ramboa to present this item.
Good afternoon, board members. Wilbert Ramboa, Administrative Services Manager. I will be providing a brief overview of the end of year legislative summary report. The report starts on page 363 of your meeting materials. The board has been watching several bills throughout the 2021 legislative season that typically deal with the Healing Arts program and the Dental Board of California. We have compiled the list of bills that we have followed throughout the year, and they're listed for you on page 363. Some items to highlight. On page 364, there are several bills that have been designated as two-year bills and will be taken up again in the 2022 legislative session. And the following bills have been signed by Governor Newsom and will become effective immediately on January 1st, 2022, unless noted as an urgency bill, which would take effect immediately. AB 107, Licensure of Veterans and Military Spouses. AB 361, Open Meetings, State and Local Agencies, Teleconferences. AB 526, Dentists and Podiatrists, Clinical Laboratories and Vaccines. AB 1273, Interagency Advisory Committee on Apprenticeship. SB 534, Dental Hygienists. and SB 607, Business and Professions. All the summaries are contained in the following pages, from pages 365 through 372 of your meeting materials. The board is tracked and took positions on several of the bills compiled in the report for the board's consideration. At this point, the board staff is asking the board to consider and possibly adopt the attached legislative summary and of 2021 legislative session and direct staff to post on the board's website.
I'd like to move this item. I'd like to move this item.
Dr. Yu's hand is up, then Dr. Chan, then Meredith, then Laren. Dr.
You second.
Yu's hand went up first. Dr. Lucy. Yeah.
You second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Member McKenzie has her hand raised.
I'm trying to unraise it now. So I can raise, no problem. I have difficulty unraising at times.
I can lower it for you.
Okay, thanks.
So Member Burton, you have a motion and a second on the floor.
Can you hear me?
We can now. Were you speaking prior?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second. Any board member comment? I would like to make a comment, and that is, prior to my coming on the board, this kind of report did not exist. And thanks to Sarah Wallace, the first report was generated at the end of the session the first year that I came in. And this is something that I take a lot of pride in, that we have gotten to this point, and that we've gotten to this point with our ability to track legislation. So with that, I'd like to ask the secretary to call the roll.
Do we need public comment on this, Ms. Burton?
Yes, we do.
All right, perhaps we'll do that first, and then I'll be happy to call it.
Any public comment?
This is the moderator. I've again opened that Q&A panel. If you'd like to comment on the summary report, please type comment into the text box, accessing that through the Q&A icon, and then submit that to our panelists.
No, you don't.
Seeing no requests for comment. My apologies. Seeing no requests for comment, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
It is closed.
Hello?
I closed it.
Ms. Burton, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
The panel's closed. The panel's closed.
I'd like to ask the secretary to call the roll, please.
This is Secretary Alan Felsenfeld, item 28B. The motion is to adopt the legislative summary for the 2021 legislative session and direct staff to post it on the website. Burton.
Burton, aye.
Burton, aye. Chan.
Chan, aye.
Chan, aye. Felsenfeld, aye. Lareen.
Lareen, aye.
Lareen, aye. McKenzie.
McKenzie, yes.
McKenzie, aye. Medina.
Medina, aye.
Medina, aye. Mendoza.
Mendoza, aye.
Mendoza, aye. Molina.
Molina, aye.
Lena, I. Montel.
Montel, I.
Montel, I. Morrow.
Morrow, I.
Morrow, I. Alagi.
Bloggy, yes.
Alagi, I. Pacheco.
Pacheco, aye.
Pacheco, I. Stewart.
Stewart, aye.
Stewart, I. You.
UI.
You, I. The vote is unanimous in the aye. The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 28C is the discussion of prospective legislative proposals. This section was added as a way to give stakeholders an opportunity to submit proposals in writing to the board before or during a meeting for possible consideration at a future meeting. No action is required at this time on this item, but the reason that this was added was because people would sort of give us verbal information about things that they were interested in, and there was not enough detail for staff to then come back to present it for consideration at the next meeting. So unless there are some questions on this item, there is no action requested. Any board member discussion? Any public discussion?
I do see a hand raised by Dr. Morrow.
Okay. Dr. Morrow?
I'm with you now. Okay, I would just like to point out before we leave this item that AB 526 carries with it the fact that the educational requirements to be in compliance with this bill for dentists and dental hygienists to be qualified to provide vaccinations will also be counted as continuing education towards licensure renewal.
Okay, thank you.
We have a hand raised from Dr. Chan.
It's just a technical question. This is Steve Chan. The technical question is that the courses that were offered for the emergency authorization for dentists to give vaccinations were done by the CDC. How does that work with identifying CDC as a provider of CE in California?
I don't know who are you asking that question of?
Staff. This is a question of staff. Because when we have a continuing education vendor, they have to submit a permit through the dental board. How do we do that for CDC?
Hi, Dr. Chan. This is Sarah Wallace. Just as a clarification, the legislation that has recently passed that require regulations, board staff are working with Board Regulatory Council on. So I don't have specifics for you today, but I anticipate that this will all be covered at the February board meeting.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, that's the end of my agenda items. I will turn this back to Board President for item 29.
Thank you, Ms. Burton. We will now move on to agenda item 29, update on pending regulatory packages. I will ask Wilbert Rombawa, Administrative Services Manager, to present this agenda item.
Good afternoon, board members. Just to give a brief update on the pending regulatory packages. The Dental Board is currently working on 10 regulation packages, and we've been working with the legal office and the director's office in conjunction with the Office of Administrative Law, and the packages are in several different phases of review. If you look at pages 376 to 378, it'll show you where each of the regulation packages lies. And hopefully we will be moving more packages by the February meeting. You'll see more of these packages have been completed.
Thank you. Are there any board member comments? Seeing none, are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. I've opened the Q&A panel. If anyone would like to make a comment on this item, please click on the Q&A icon on the screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. And seeing no requests for comment, would you like me to close the panel?
Yes, please.
It is closed.
Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item 30, election of the 2022 board officers. I will ask Ms. Fisher to present this agenda item.
Thank you, President Pacheco. I would ask at this point if we could go back to agenda item 28C. We didn't hear the public comment was taken. So if you'll go ahead and revisit agenda item 28.
I thought I asked for public comment and there was none.
This is the moderator. That was not on 28C. That was on 28B.
Okay. So then, any public comment on 28C?
And this is the moderator. We've again opened that Q&A panel. If anybody would like to propose a prospective legislative proposal, you could click on that Q&A icon on your screen, type comment into the text field, and submit that to the panelists. And seeing no requests for comment, I will close the panel.
Thank you.
Right, we will now move on to agenda item 30, election of the 2022 board officers. And at this time, I will ask Ms. Fisher to present this agenda item.
Thank you, President Pacheco. It's my honor to conduct the election of the Dental Board of California officers for 2022. At this time, I will open the nominations for the position of secretary.
Hello, this is Dr. Larin. I would like to
Hello?
I'd like to nominate our
Dr.
colleague.
Larin.
Hi, how are you? This is Dr. Larin. I'd like to nominate our colleague, Dr. Sonia Molina, for the position of secretary for next year.
Thank you, Dr. Larin. Dr. Molina, will you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Dr. Larin.
Thank you. Are there any additional nominations for the position of secretary? Seeing and hearing none, I will ask board staff to call the roll.
This is Sarah Wallace. I'll call the roll. Burton?
Abstain.
Burton abstain. Chan?
Aye. Chan, aye.
Chan, aye. Felsenfeld?
Felsenfeld, aye.
Felsenfeld, aye. Larine?
Lorraine, aye.
Larine, aye. Mackenzie?
Mackenzie, yes.
Mackenzie, yes. Medina?
Medina, aye.
Medina, yes. Mendoza? Mendoza? I'll come back. Molina?
Molina, aye.
Molina, aye. Montel?
Montel, yes.
Montel, aye. Morrow?
Morrow, aye.
Morrow, aye. Olagi?
Olagi, aye.
Olagi, aye. Pacheco?
Pacheco, aye.
Pacheco, aye. Stewart?
Stewart, aye.
Stewart, aye. You?
You, aye.
You, aye. Mendoza? Looks like we may have lost Mendoza's connection. But the motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah, and congratulations, Dr. Molina. We will next accept nominations for Vice President.
This is Pacheco, and I have my hand raised.
And we can't see any hand raises these days, so thank you. President Pacheco, who will you be nominating?
Dr. James Yu.
Thank you, President Pacheco. Dr. Yu, will you accept the nomination?
Yes, that will be my honor.
Thank you. Are there any additional nominations?
This is Dr. Molina. I nominate Dr. Lorraine.
Thank you. Dr. Lorraine, will you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Dr. Molina.
Thank you. Are there any additional nominations for the position of Vice President? Okay, the nominations are now closed, and we'll ask the board to call the roll for Dr. Yu as a candidate for Vice President.
This is Marilla Turin. I will call the roll for Dr. Yu as President. Burton?
Burton, aye. Hello?
Well, I hear you, Ms. Burton.
Burton, aye.
It looks like we may have lost Ms. Turan's connection, so I'm going to resume calling the roll. Burton, aye. Chan?
Chan, aye.
Chan, aye.
I didn't hear, excuse me, I didn't hear what we were voting for.
We're voting for the nomination of Dr. James Yu as Vice President.
Okay, thank you.
Chan, aye. Felsenfeld?
Felsenfeld, aye.
Felsenfeld, aye. Larry?
Abstain.
Larry abstain. Mackenzie?
Mackenzie, yes.
Mackenzie, aye. Medina?
Abstain.
Medina abstain. Mendoza? We'll come back to Mr. Mendoza. Molina?
Molina, no.
Molina, nay. Montel?
Montel, aye.
Montel, aye. Morrow?
Morrow, aye.
Morrow, aye. Olagi?
Olagi, aye.
Olagi, aye. Pacheco?
Pacheco, aye.
Pacheco, aye. Stewart?
Stewart, aye.
Stewart, aye. You?
Aye. You, aye.
You, aye. Mendoza? Looks like we may still have a connection issue.
Jessica, could you hear
I
me?
have 10 yeses. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yu. Congratulations. You will serve as the board's Vice President in 2022.
Thank you very much.
We will now open the nominations for President of the board.
This is Meredith McKenzie. I'd like to nominate Dr. Felsenfeld.
Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. Dr. Felsenfeld, will you accept the nomination?
I do.
Thank you. Are there any additional nominations from the floor for president?
This
Yeah,
is
this is
Dr.
Dr.
Morrow.
Stewart. This is Dr. Stewart, and it's my privilege to nominate Dr. Stephen Chan as president.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. Is Dr. Chan, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional nominations for president? Hearing and seeing none, the nominations are now closed, and I'll ask staff to call the roll. The first candidate introduced was Dr. Felsenfeld for president.
This is Sarah Wallace. I'm going to call the roll for Dr. Felsenfeld for president. Burton?
Burton, aye.
Burton, aye. Chan?
Chan, nay.
Chan, no. Felsenfeld?
Felsenfeld, aye.
Felsenfeld, aye. Lareen?
Lareen, aye.
Lareen, aye. McKenzie?
McKenzie, yes.
McKenzie, yes. Medina?
Medina, aye.
Medina, aye. Mendoza? We'll come back. Molina?
Molina, aye.
Molina, aye. Montel?
Montel, aye.
Montel, aye. Morrow?
Morrow, aye.
Morrow, aye. Olagi?
Loggy, no.
Olagi, no. Pacheco?
Pacheco, nay.
Pacheco, no. Stewart?
Stewart, abstain.
Stewart, abstain. You?
You abstain.
Mendoza? Okay, absent. One. I have 8 yeses. Motion passes.
Congratulations to Dr. Felsenfeld.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. Thank you all. Appreciate it. We'll work hard, all of us.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item 31, Executive Officer Closing Remarks. I will ask Ms. Fisher to continue with this agenda item.
Thank you, President Pacheco. I had prepared a 6-page statement of qualifications to present at my closing remarks. But after hearing the discussion yesterday about the EO recruitment notice, I pared down to 1 page. On September 1st this year, I notified board members that I'd be retiring at the end of the year. And in 2 weeks, on December 4th, I will have served as your executive officer for 9 glorious years. Prior to that appointment, I was working part-time for the board as an analyst coordinating the newly formed elective facial cosmetic surgery permit program and working as a special assistant to then EO Richard DeCure. In all, I have been part of the dental board family for 13 years, and during those years, I have established friendships that will last a lifetime. I have had the honor and privilege of sharing important events with members, such as your children's acceptance into dental and medical schools and graduation from those schools, marriages of your children, and the birth of your grandchildren, and have shared in the sorrow of parents passing away. There are no words to express the gratitude I feel toward members and staff for the love and support I was given when my husband passed away 4 years ago. My effort to implement board policy is, if deemed successful by you, stakeholders, and consumers, was only possible due to a strong, competent, and compassionate management team who will continue to serve the board to the best of their abilities after I retire. I would like to thank board members, past and present, for sponsoring my induction into the American College of Dentists as an honorary fellow. Doctors Chan, Morrow, Stewart, Larin, Lay, Witcher, Wu, and Casagrande. I was stunned to receive this honor and hope to continue to live up to the high ethical standards of this organization. I'm fearful to start to thank people by name, mainly because I don't want to leave anybody out. To those well-wishers from yesterday and today, representatives from DCA, HR, OPES, legal, budgets, and DHBC, thank you. I hope that through the years I have dropped you a note or emailed you telling you what a blessing you have been in my life. Of course, I should have started my final comments by giving God the glory and thanking Him for bringing me to this spot in my life. He knows my heart because every day I pray for strength and wisdom to do the best job I can. It is time to close the circle of my professional career, which began when I was 16 years old and worked in a pediatric dental office during high school for school credit. I never imagined I would close that circle by serving as the EO for the dental board. I have been blessed to be able to do something that I love for the last 9 years, and am reminded of what Mark Twain and others came to know. If you find something you love doing, you will never have to work a day in your life. May God continue to bless the work you do to protect the public. This concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Are there any board member comments?
Felsenfeld, Karen, you will be sorely missed. You have contributed so much to this board for so many years, and we all love you.
This is Stephen Morrow. Karen, my opportunity to be able to work with you on the Dental Board of California has been one of the highlights of my more than 60 years in the dental profession. Our working relationship as well as our friendship has grown over these years, and I will miss you terribly. I do have your phone number, so watch out. You can't get away from me completely. I enjoy having an opportunity to work with you, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors, wherever they might take you and whatever they might be. May God bless you and keep you safe.
Thank you so much.
This is Angie Medina. Karen, as a new board member, you've been a blessing to me. You've been available at, I have to drop to answer all of my questions, and there's been a lot of them. And you've, educated me as much as you've been able to in this short time, and I really appreciate your support. So I wish you peace, joy, and love in your new path in life here. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Angie.
This is Steve Chan. Thank you, Coach. Coaching is not just telling you what the next moves be, but it instills values, instills direction, instills vision. And I have to sing the praises of Karen, not only for the state of California and the kids and the population of California, but her work went way beyond that. And when she talked about being named an honorary fellow of the American College, for the board members, the American College is the National Honor Society for dentistry in this country. Only 3% of dentists that actually are nominated actually can get in. And it's exceedingly rare to have a non-dentist be named an honorary fellow. Karen was the first in recent history, in the 100-year history actually, that came from not the ADA affiliated organizations, not from academics. She was the first from licensure and enforcement. And in that, in her role, in her work, now there's only one EO. Yes, she had a great team, but as the EO, there's only one EO. And in the direction that she pointed, realize California is a social laboratory. Other states around the country watch what happens and watch how they do problem solving. They were watching Karen. Thank you, Karen. You've moved the evolution and the paradigm of dentistry for the country, as well as for me. Thank you.
Hi, this is James Yu. Yeah, I have been raising my hand. Karen, I can't find the right word to describe how much I appreciate your service and your help. And then we work as not just as a board member, but also as a friend, as a Christian sister and brother. And I truly appreciate all the guidance you gave to me, all the encouragement. And no matter how busy you are, you always find time to return my call and always have the patience to go through a lengthy discussion and your care for the public, I will never forget. And then I truly appreciate and I pray that you will have a blessed future and may God continue to bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Yu.
This is Dr. Molina. I also want to wish you happy many more years of productive contribution to the community, just like you've done all these years.
Thank you, Dr. Molina.
This is Dr. Larin. Karen, I want to thank you so much for your wonderful service, your guidance, your mentorship. Since I went to that orientation with you in Sacramento, you put me in line from the first time. But I really appreciate all your help to the board, to me, and answering my questions. Like everybody said, you're very efficient with everything you do, and we are going to miss you.
Thank you.
Karen, this is Tom Stewart. And what you're hearing from all of these folks is just how much we do appreciate your leadership, the way that your grace, the passion, you've taken tough issues and you've helped us understand them and move through them, and always with a sense of humor and always with a great ability to listen and try to respect. You respect each of us so much, and we get that, and we just appreciate your leadership style and who you are as a person. And it was just such a privilege to spend these 9 years on the board with you at the helm and the great team of Sarah and Carlos and all the rest of your folks that you put together. And so we will certainly miss you. I'm anticipating that you're going to spend some time in your garage locating those golf clubs and getting them dusted off and getting back out to a golf course and hitting some balls and we'll think of you often as a friend and as a great leader. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. I wanted to just let Dr. Molina know that that's my next job. Is I'm going to get on the golf course and get back in the game.
This is Meredith McKenzie. So I'm not sure I can really add much to what everyone else said, so I'll just keep it simple and just thank you, Karen, and know that we'll miss you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Karen, this is Fran.
Don't
start it. Scripture tells us that to whom much is given, much is expected. And you have lived up to every expectation of this board. It has been my absolute pleasure to serve alongside you as an officer and to have you as a friend. And you know that I wish you nothing but love.
Thank you, my friend.
Karen, this is Alicia. I just want to echo what everybody else is saying. I mean, I didn't know you. I probably know you one of the least members, but you helped me so much. I just want to thank you for that and wish you well in your retirement. And I'm like wiping my eyes here because of all the things I was saying about you in your last remarks, and I just like I missed out actually. But anyway, I wish you well and have a great retirement.
I have to tell you all a funny story. I've had a few conversations with Dr. Montel, and the last time I called her, when she answered the phone, she just said, "What did I do wrong?" And I started to laugh, and I thought, no, I don't want her to be thinking when I call her, I'm telling her she's doing something wrong. Dr. Montel, you have a great future with the board, so Keep doing what you're doing.
And have a great time with but the challenges and the fun that will come next.
Thank you. You can see why we're doing this webcast. It would be ugly if we were in person.
I was thinking that.
Well, this is Board President Pacheco. Are there any other board comments?
This is James Yu. Just want to say one more time that I've been board member for 4 years. I've seen good people come and go. But this year is sad, okay, that not just Karen, but Frank and also Stewart, Dr. Stewart are leaving. And these two are really, really good role model. And they hold the highest standard to serve as a board member. And I recall when I talked to both of them, for Frank, we have conversation for hour and a half. Just to, and then her guidance, her patience is so good. Her knowledge in the legislature and the way she helped out the Sunset Review is priceless. And Dr. Stewart, and your the standard you hold up for the dentistry is always my inspiration. And also, not just the highest standard, but you also have the human side. You always give people a second chance. And I can see that in you. And I truly appreciate that both of you, and then we can work together. Have a blessed future.
This is Board Member Mendoza. I just wanted to say again, thank you to Karen. Karen, I know you and I have had multiple conversations over, the course of the year that I've been on the board, and you were super helpful in terms of explaining the material, right? The board's processes, being patient with me, as you'll know, and you will be very missed. I mean, you are really an institution within the dental board, and you will be missed. Hopefully we'll see you at maybe some of the future board meetings, but I understand going into retirement, you kind of want to relax, and it's your time now. You definitely deserve it. So thank you again, Karen, and you'll be missed for sure.
Thank you, Mark. You're going to be a great asset as a public member to this board.
And this is Board President Pacheco, and this is for Karen, Fran, and Tom. I just want to express my sincere gratitude for your mentorship and service. These positions are all important roles, and you displayed your duties with grace, dedication, and seriousness. I'm most grateful for your active leadership as judicious stewards of the Dental Board of California. I know that you all deliberated on important matters. And for you, Karen, deciding to retire is difficult, but your decision is respected. And a famous peace activist once said, wisdom is knowing what to do next, and virtue is doing it. So you are all wise and virtuous, and I'm grateful for all the qualities that you shared with the Dental Board. I'll miss working with all of you as board members, but I look forward to staying in touch for years to come. So congratulations and God bless. And with that, are there any public comments? DCA moderator, please facilitate the lines for public comment.
Ooh, I was afraid you were going to ask me to open my mic. Okay. Okay, Q&A panel is open, and if anybody would like to make any comments, please click on that Q&A icon, type comment into the text field, and submit that to our panelists. All right, our first comment comes from Mary McCune. Mary, I've sent a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, Mary McCune from the California Dental Association.
I just wanted to tell you, Karen, it has been such an honor and a pleasure working with you for the past 5.5 years. We don't always agree on everything, but even then it is, always a pleasure, and it's always been great to think of you as a thought partner on a lot of things. And so I really do wish you the best in your retirement, and you absolutely deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
And next we have Dr. Bruce Witcher. Dr. Witcher, I've sent a request to unmute your microphone.
Thank you. Although it's been a couple of years since I've been on the board, some of you may remember that Fran and I served on the search committee where we interviewed Karen for her job as EO. And it was our pleasure certainly to recommend her to the full board, who then proceeded to hire her. Of course, it was sort of an easy choice in a lot of ways because she came across as a very forthright and capable person and has proven that every step of the way during her tenure as EO. It's been one of the highlights of my career to have the privilege of working with her. And she steered me through so many difficult decisions at different times along the way. And I really have to admire her ability to maintain her commitment to the board as she endured tremendous personal tragedy with the loss of her great husband. So with that, I really don't have much to add because everybody else has pretty much said what needs to be said. But I will really, I hope to see you around or meet you occasionally because as you say, these friendships go on beyond service on the board. So thank you. With that, I'll close.
Thank you. And next we have Anthony Lum. Anthony, I've sent a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. This is Tony from the Dental Hygiene Board, Executive Officer. I just want to say congratulations on your retirement. It's well-deserved, and want to express my gratitude in working with you all these years and the relationship that we've formulated, more so above and beyond a professional relationship, but a friendship as well. I'm really going to miss our little communications and discussions that we have in each other's offices and just chat about both professional and personal items. So just want to wish you future success and well-being in your retirement. Maybe I'll see you out there on the golf course one of these days. So take care, keep in touch, and I'm definitely going to miss you.
Thank you, Tony.
And not seeing any other requests, I will close the Q&A panel.
Thank you. And Karen, I know that you felt the love.
I did. Thank you to everybody. Thank you. I just also wanted to say that I'll be, my last day actually should be December 30th, and my first day of retirement is December 31st. So I'll still be around for a while.
Well, what a way to ring in the new year, huh?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, well, this concludes the November 18, 19, 2021 quarterly dental board meeting. So this meeting is officially adjourned. Everyone enjoy your Friday afternoon, and we'll be in touch.
Good job, Joanne. Good job.
Good night.
Thank you, President Pacheco. You did a good job.
Thank you, Dr. Yu. I enjoyed every moment.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great job, Joanne. Thank you.
You're
Yes,
very welcome,
Joanne,
Dr.
really
Stewart.
good job.
And now everyone should look at a golf video from Clay Ballard for Karen.
Congratulations, Joanne. Great job.